What's up? It's Black Hippie 333. I want to do a video today on Aquarius Sun. Actually, one of my favorite sun signs. I'm a Virgo sun, but I have Virgo in the 11th house, which Aquarius is the 11th house. It's the house of community, the house of organization, and your sun sign is basically your vitality, it's your actions, it's your ego, it's the essence of your spirit. So this is something that you can see a lot more in people rather than like their moon sign, rather than their rising. Well, you would see their rising if it's like you don't know them yet, you're just first meeting them. But once you get to know somebody, you kind of see their sun sign a lot more. Now, Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. So Saturn is the planet of basically restriction. It's a little bit more serious. And people, when you're around 30 or so, consider Saturn a return. So wherever you actually have Saturn, you can look at where you have Saturn, and that's going to influence a lot of your Aquarius nature and how your actions are going to play out. But being in Aquarius Sun specifically, it is a fixed sign, and it is it's fixed, so it's an air sign as well. So air signs are all about intellectual exchange, so they're very moving. The water sign, the fire signs are more feelers, they're more feeling. The air sign, earth sign, they are more, actually causing things and doing things rather than being receptive and taking things in. So being a fixed sign is a lot more, fixated on ideals. Aquarius is all about ideals and idealism and humanitarianism, innovation, growth, change. So these people are they use communication more in an impersonal way. But it's always it's intellectual. Like people will see them and say, wow, how did they do that? Or will not really understand how they got to certain actions or certain conclusions because they're just so independent and different. They're going to act out how to be independent. If you want to see how to be a very unique type of individual, look at someone that's an Aquarius sun. They're going to show you how to be unique to yourself, how to really bring out the best qualities of yourself that no one else possesses, and how to really be, successful doing that, and how to be very action oriented and outward doing that. These people are extremely independent. The phrase for Aquarius is "I know." So Aquarius is all about, it's less about emotions, less about, how people feel. It's more about intuitive insight and using the things around you, using the information around you to make the best decision and come up to the best conclusion. They're great problem solvers. They're great at creating things that maybe someone else wouldn't even think about. They're very innovative about the collective. So they always understand long term that the things that they put out into the universe are going to come back to them full send. So these people, when it comes to like that impersonal communication, these people sometimes are able to do and willing to do things for people that they may not even know that well, but they understand like that means something, that it's important for the greater good, that it can change someone's life, or it can put someone in a place where they see, if I help this person get to this point, that's going to drastically change their future. So these people, are very good at that. They're great at networking with people. They can interact with all different kinds of people because they're so big on independence. They actually prefer, being around people that are all different. They don't want to be in groups of people where everybody's the same. They want people to really be proud of their independence. And they're very abstract individuals. They don't necessarily follow the rules or believe in the rules. They believe in using the rules and bending them to whatever makes the best future, makes the best outcome. And they're more logical than emotion based. So they're not the type of people to get emotional necessarily about things when it comes to their actions, but they are very good at being emotive and creating emotions in other people and getting people to see or feel things. And sometimes they may not even be aware of this, but because they're so independent and they're so, that intellectual exchange, that air sign is always moving. It's a very fluid type of thing, but it's fixed in Aquarius. So when it comes to how they do things, it's way more fixed. It can change as they get older, from time to time as they gather more information, but it's fixed on how they do things. They're not gonna necessarily do things in a way that is easier for this person just because this person is that person. They're gonna do things the way that they think is best long term. They have an innate natural sense of logic, a natural sense of how to, um, and they can be, like black sheep of their family. They can kind of grow up to be that way. And Aquarius is not typically not afraid of looking different or being different or being outside of the box, not traditional. I have Aquarius in the fourth house. So when it comes to like family type situations, I'm very different in how I operate. Like I don't want to operate the same way. I see and understand the importance of family, but I'm also going to look at, within my lifetime, what are the things that are best for me long term, but also beneficial to the family, right? So these people tend to, be a little different when they're younger. They're going to think differently. They're not going to want to operate and be part of the mix, be part of the fads. They're going to, be unique, be original, and they're not scared of that. And that's why I love Aquarius so much. A lot of their conversations, especially their first conversations with people, is way more intellectual based. Like it's not going to be something that's like typical, and that has been my experiences with actual Aquariuses. How I meet them, I always remember. It's always like a very unique, distinct way, and that person always like makes me want to be more myself. I'm a Virgo, so I'm more inward Earth sign, so I understand, doing things, but sometimes being a perfectionist, looking at Aquariuses and seeing how they are able to gracefully just do this naturally is pretty inspiring. And depending on where you have Aquarius, if you have it in a specific house, that might help you a little bit more with figuring out how to be, really tap into yourself and tap into your independent uniqueness, because we all are spirits. We all have different, positive and, or I wouldn't even say positive and negative, because, you know, it's not necessarily good or bad, but we all have different aspects and perspectives that we can bring to light and bring to other people that we can utilize. And it's important on really learning how to tap into that. And Aquariuses are really good at showing you how to do this successfully. And they don't, like I said, they don't care a lot about feelings. Like they care, but it's more about what's gonna get the best result at the end of the day. What is gonna bring about the best innovation to everybody around them or themselves at the end of the day. So it's a very, very unique placement. If you look at these people, how they dress, even how they operate and how they move, the type of pictures they take, it's always unique. It's always a lot of people that I know, they're a little quirky, they're a little different. Like they may not be on time for things. They may not be, because they're operating in a different type of lane. But they ultimately are people that do, care about the collective. They care about humanity, humanitarians typically, and they want to do things for the greater good ultimately. And when it comes to their ego battles, sometimes they have to do things for themselves, and sometimes they have to learn how to be a little bit more emotionally in tune with other people, because it's not always about what's best for everybody in every single situation. Sometimes it's about, if you're interacting in a relationship with somebody, it's important to know what's best for that person emotionally, or what's best for you emotionally. So that's just one thing to remember always. If you're an Aquarius, comment below, subscribe, like, hopefully.